Welcome, Lockdown Workshop. Yeah, I've been putting this one off. It's absolutely knackered again. The stuff we put in there last time, that Loctite, it's not worked. You can't hear that, I can feel it. If I do it on this side, yeah, you can't hear it, the stand's creaking, but it's probably got about 1/4 mil of play in it, and it's clonking. I think it's clonking on the passenger side, not the drive side. I'm close to writing it off, but I'm going to have one last go at it. I did say I was going to araldite bond the bottom bracket in, but I can't find the araldite. But what I have got is I've got some fiberglass resin gel coat stuff, which is actually the type of stuff they use to bond the carbon fibre anyway. It's the finish coat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a bit of that up and I'm going to smear it around the inside of the shell, and then force the bottom bracket back in and see if I can get it to bond in. It probably will come out because it won't glue to that. I thought about putting some release agent on, but do you know what? I'm not that bothered. I'm not going to sell it, so if it doesn't work, I'll extract the bottom bracket anyway, and then it'll become a very expensive piece of wall art. I've been keeping my eye open for other bikes, but the trouble is I really like this bike, and I've got a bit of heritage with the Holdsworths. But I'll be honest, both the frames have let me down now, and this one came like this from Planet X, so they sold me a right pup there. It was a bike that had been assembled before, and then they claimed it was for display purposes. But whoever did it mangled that bottom bracket. When they put the bottom bracket in, there wasn't a bottom bracket in it, but you could see one had been fitted. And when they've put it in, they've not put it in straight, and it's liptoid the bottom bracket, so it's deformed. So all the bottom brackets I put in, it was eating bottom brackets, like one a month, and they're like 30-40 quid at the time, these bottom brackets, these push fit bottom brackets, PF30s I think they are. So it's costing me a fortune. So then I went and bit the bullet and bought a very expensive, like £100 bolt together shell kind of thing, just to hold it all in place, in the theory that should work. But the cup is moving on one side of it, so the thing itself should be okay. Because it keeps the whole thing in a plane. It can't get out of plane and wear the bearing out, which is what it was doing before with the cup. The cup was moving and the bearing was getting out of plane and it was wearing the bearings out. But this whole unit, it's just moving in the bottom bracket. So it's either one side or both sides. Most of the play I can feel on that side, so I suspect it's that one on that side. I need to have a look at it because it could just be completely cracked, in which case it's knackered and I really need to quickly find a new frame. So I need to find a small medium carbon rim brake frame, or I need to pick up a new bike, cheap, that I can ride in the winter, because I can't ride the Propel. It looks like I'm going to have to ride the Propel for the Palace to Palace now, because this was the bike I was going to ride. I've checked out the hills today. I'm pretty sure I can do it on the Propel with the gearing I've got. It's not going to be as easy as it would have been on this one, and that's a harder ride for 90 miles, I'll tell you that now. This is a lot more compliant. So I did actually find another one of these for about 130 quid down in Loughborough, which I might have a poke at. It's the next size up. Shouldn't make much difference. There's not much between the smalls and the mediums, and I'm right on the line between the small and the mediums anyway for Planet X sizing and Holdsworth sizing. So don't know, Planet X own Holdsworth. This is a Planet X Holdsworth, not a Holdsworth. My other bike was a Holdsworth. They just bought the name and started making them. It's a really nice bike, other than somebody mullered it. So there we are where we are. We're going to get that bottom bracket out and see if we can bond it. Anyway, enough talking. Bring you back in a minute when I've got my tools ready. I'm that pissed off I can't even be bothered to go and fetch the remote control for this. I fetched a wall chest over just to make life a bit easier, so I don't have to keep walking backwards and forwards off camera. This thing's getting on my nerves because the spanners keep falling out of it, so I've bought a roll to put them in. I'm trying to keep a minimum amount of set of tools down here. I think this is an 8 for this one. I'm pretty sure it's an 8. Yeah, it's an 8. It's an 8 on a skinny mini. Oops, goal. I've hit my goal. Woo! No. What I haven't got is a 1/2 inch down to 1/4. That's a bit annoying. I don't really want to use this thing. Never mind. Tighten. Untighten. So let's hope for the best, because these are done up quite. Oh, fucking hell. Excuse me, French. Let's try without getting my hand in the way. I saw a video where somebody was using resistance bands to snap one of these off, and I thought that can't be a good idea. Let me get a spanner on that. This is one of the problems of doing it up here, because it's very hard to get the leverage you need. I really don't want to smack this into the... It could do with bringing it onto the floor or something, so I can rest it on my leg, and I can't jam anything against the frame. Trouble is, these spanners aren't brilliant either. Oh, I am doing this the right way up, aren't I? Tighten that way. Yeah. It's just been bloody awkward. Simpering idiot outside. I don't really like to use the torque wrench for this. What do you want, George? No, thank you, George. I've got a bit more to go at with the torque wrench, but you've just got to be careful. I mean, the torque wrench should be able to do it, because the torque wrench is, this one's registered up to about 50 or 60, I think. I can't remember what the maximum is on this one. It should tell you on it somewhere. It's a Park thingy one. 60 Newton meters. So we're going well within, because this is only done up to 40. I'm tightening it up, aren't I? Why does that feel like I'm tightening it? Because it's the retainer that retightens it. There you go. That'll be why I couldn't do it. That's really annoying, that. The arrow thing is for the silly little retainer collar that's on it. So now we've got to drive it off the splines. Shouldn't be too bad. So these are similar to the Shimano Octolinks in the way they work. It's kind of a tapered, spliney kind of thing going on. Why does it never focus in the box? Let's watch off in the focus there. If it doesn't focus, there you go. I'll just inspect it while we're here, because it is carbon. No, everything looks happy. Chuck that there, and just get this out now. There we go. Everything feels happy in there. The big test is, can we feel anything on here? we need to do is get that. Actually, it does feel a bit notchy. It shouldn't do because these are ceramic. It does feel a little bit. The trouble is, it's difficult to tell because of these silly plastic things that are in there, which really get on my nerves. No, that one feels, it's definitely moving anyway, because you can feel it, when you're pushing it, it's moving on the thing. So we'll just get that off using the special tools. Oh, that just fell out. So I think it's that one. No, that's the baby one. That's the one. Might be another one in here too. No. Right. So it should tell you somewhere which way is tight and which way is loosen, because it won't always be lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. That's just made that a right mess. That's better. Right, so this one tightens that way, so it's the left-hand thread, so it's the opposite way to a pedal. Left-hand side, it's a right-hand thread. Just got to keep an eye on that one to make sure that one's not moving. It looks like that glue was in. Whatever the pink Loctite stuff that we put in, it does appear to have done something, but it still appears to be moving. I'm kind of hoping I'll be able to do one side at a time. Or at least I'll have some witness marks to show where it's moving. All right. So there's definitely something going on there. There's something behind there. I'll bring it over here so you can have a look at this. So there's definitely some corrosion or something built up there. I'm just shifting it with my nail now. So that would cause it to sit proud. I can't really see any other witness marks. I mean, I can clean all that lot out. I mean, I've got to do something with it. I can't leave it as it was. Bearings feel okay. I mean, the ceramic bearings, they shouldn't fail, but there's definitely... I know with any of these that if you don't get that face sat properly, that can cause problems. And there's definitely a whole load of crap behind there. And it's definitely rough there. So it's been moving. You can see it's been moving because it's worn. I mean, these are well manufactured. I mean, they've got an O-ring on to stop crap from getting through. Right, we'll scrape that out and we'll have a look at, you see it, it's, you see there's like white all down the air. Now that would hold it off the rim of the bottom bracket. That's the rubber seal I've just taken off that sits in that groove. We'll get the other one out. Just need to make sure that I put this somewhere where it says left on it. Tighten left. So this is the left hand side one. Right, where's the tool gone? See if we can get this one out. So this one should be the opposite side, which means we should have to, as if we were tightening it up, but it should just come out because it says it should just come out. The frame's a bit mullered there. That's well in that ain't moving nowhere. So that one's bonded then. That one has actually bonded into the frame, which covers my thought that it was this side that had got the problem. So I'm wondering whether just to go at this side. I mean, you can see that I'm not going to bring you around, but you can see there is definitely some damage on this side. I can't feel any cracks, but then you wouldn't see them. What I have seen with carbon frames is you don't see the cracks. The only time you see them is when they've gone too far, and you only see them encrasing in the paint. You don't see them anywhere else. So I might see if I can put a puller on that and pull it out. But I mean, that looks like it's seated. Right, let me clean up the face of this. We'll mix up a bit of that bond. We'll try and keep it to the inside. It's definitely, the face of this is not good. And if the face isn't good, you do tend to get problems. I know that much. Let's just have a look at the bottom while we've got it up, just make sure I'm not missing a massive great big crack. Because it's at the outside you would see it, you won't see it on the inside. I'm not seeing anything. That one looks like it sits okay. It's this side one here. I've just fetched some files down. Let me see if I can just take the edge off it. I didn't bring them down for this. I brought them down to fix the door in house, but I've got a flat file, so I'm just wondering if I can just face it off. Park Tool do sell a tool for doing this to frames, so when you fit in a new bottom bracket you can just check it and give it a face off. We get the useful watch on it, see if I'm not missing it. There's definitely chafing around there. Yeah, there's big chunks of, yeah, I think that's what it is. There's big chunks of the final coat missing. So I think it has oblonged out a bit and it's just chewed up. Right, I'm going to take the executive decision. It is the one on this side. I'm going to mix up some gunk and I'm going to put it in here and smear it around there. So we'll turn the frame around so you can see what's going on. We'll get it in there, we'll screw that in. And the reason I'm going to put it in this side first is so that when I put that in, it's not pushing it back. If I put it on there, the collar, and I slide it in, the frame's going to push the gunk that's on the collar back and into the edge, and I don't want it to do that. I don't want anything to stop it from fitting flush. There's part of me that thinks perhaps I do, but the outside I don't think's the problem. There's a couple of nicks and things, but I think the problem's in the middle. And it's like I said, the cut bit doesn't really matter with these because of the way they are. This is moving in that plane. I don't know if you can see my hand, so it's moving in that plane within there. When you put the cups in and you've just got a cup on each side, if the fronts aren't flat, the cups can move because they're not being pinned on the outside by the frame. That doesn't matter with that because the whole thing is bolted together, so they keep parallel. So you've not got this problem with one doing that because the frame's not parallel on the outside. The cups that keep it parallel. What's happening is the whole thing's doing that. So if you imagine that bolted onto it, onto the other side, it's doing that. Whereas when you've got two cups, they can do that. That one can just do whatever it wants, independent of that. Well, these are bolted together, you can't do that. So I think that's what we'll do. I'll just clean out around there as well. And I might as well while I've got the file here. Just to make sure it, you know, I'm not going to put it under any undue stress. In fact, that's possibly the worst file I could have picked for that. I think we've got a much better one there. So we'll clean that out, get all that out, because I think it's just some muck and corrosion that's got down the back of it because it's been moving around. So I'm not actually changing the face of it, I'm just going down into the corner just to shift it all out. So I'll flip the bike round and I'll mix up some of that stuff and we'll get it put in. So I don't know if you can see that, I've moved the focus box onto that piece there. So that bit there is worn. There's a big chip missing out from there where my finger is, and there's another chip missing out up there. So I'll try and get some anti-greasant in there and get that cleaned out, and then we'll mix up some slop. Just bear with me. Let me move you back a bit. Focus. I'll turn my watch light off. Ooh, they're quite cool, these. That's the Garmin Fenix 7. Thank you, Garmin. Not sponsored by Garmin in any way. I just killed my 6 and they kindly replaced it with a 7. But given the amount of money I spend on Garmin products. But I think that's quite a standard service, that if they haven't got any of the model you need, they will supply you with another one. I was desperate because it literally broke about 3 weeks before Outlaw. So I was quite stressed, as you can imagine. I've got another watch. Obviously I wasn't going to tell Garmin that. I had a spare 3HR, but to be honest, they're not, compared to the 6, you know, they're not that brilliant. So I'm just using some degreaser. Ideally I'd use brake clean or some ammonia, some acetone on this, but I'm just using a bit of brake cleaner just to get the crap out of that. Now the reason I'm not too bothered about these being bonded in is because I don't really need to get in there for anything. The cables are accessible through there. I can knock the bearings out if I need to, and they are just a standard bearing, so I'm really not that fussed about it. So I'm going to mix up some stuff now. I don't know whether to have you on camera for that, but I need to go and find some lids and shit to go and do it in. Anyway, right, back. So before my wife sees this and kills me, we'll put this down. Gel coat, Moldcraft black gel coat, so it is coloured gel coat. That's the hardener. I can't remember the ratio that you mix it to. It came from a place in Sheffield. It says caution, it's 100 grams of resin to 2 grams of catalyst, so it's 1 to 2. I'm assuming that they are similar weights, because that's all I've got to go on, because I've got no scales or anything down here. I did it last time. Yeah, I've got black on the spoon already. Can't remember how the best way to do this was. I don't really want to tip it out. I haven't got anything to I think I'm just going to have to get the spoon in, aren't I? Right, and that's official. I'm now dead. The wife is going to kill me. That's one of the wedding spoons. Only joking, no, it's not. It's a shit one we got from... Actually, it might be a wedding one, actually. Alright, so... maybe a little bit more. Now, normally I'd say you don't stir it, you fold it, but this is liquidy stuff. Let me just prop that there. I need to do something with this spoon before it gets out of hand. Paper towels. Running out of paper towels. I could do with a blue thing up here, but I don't think that'll go well with the missus either. Right, so before we get completely out of hand, let's clean the wedding spoon off. The perfect crime. Right, so I'm going to have to use this cocktail stick to mix it in. I'm not sure it's the best thing in the world, but hey ho. Oops, the stuff we need to mix it into seems to have migrated down here, so we'll now last time this stuff went off really quick, so weirdly I can't feel it getting warm. So I wonder if I put enough in. The thing is, we've got to get this right, because if we don't get this right we're knackered, because I'll just end up with a bottom bracket full of could be the hardener's gone off as well. Right, we're going to give it a go at that. Right, back at the scene of the crime. Now what I don't want to do is spill any of this on the floor, because again that will result in premature death. So I'm going to keep my thing under here. My main aim is to get as much into that bit as possible, because that's where most of the damage is. It's on those bits. Could have done with it being on its end, to be honest. Who'd have thought that using a stick with a point on it to scoop really runny liquid up would have been a really bad idea? Yeah, it's starting to go now, that's good. some of these resins, they harden on air, and you don't, the hardeners almost like an accelerator, but I don't think these are. I think these are definitely a two-part epoxy. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drop the frame down, hopefully not drop that on the floor. No, you can't see that. Right. Problem again now is it's all flowing to the bottom, as you can see, because it's all flowing out. Right, so I need to rescue that situation before it all drips on the floor. Right, let me get a cloth quickly and wipe the outside of the frame. Right, need to act quick. Now I don't know whether to take that seal out because I don't want it to seal, to be honest. I want it to Right, where's the tool gone? I've trapped myself. Right, actually, I'm going to have to block myself in. It. Do not need to do it up tight. Do not want to put that on any more pressure. Right, so we're going to leave that. Well, actually, no, it doesn't matter. I can put the thing back together. We'll see how it goes. That should bond, and then any gaps that was moving in, it should fill them in. That's the theory I'm working on. I've taken the O-ring out, because what I didn't want the O-ring to do was to wipe the surface and slide everything past it and on the inside, because actually most of the damage is on the outside. Now, what I could have done was, on that last bit, just run a stick round and run it in, but then I would have risked having some of it on this edge, and I really didn't want it on that edge. As it happens, I'm not sure it's going to work, but I need to get the bike back together so I can at least try it. I'm not that sure I want to tighten this up anymore because I'm up against that flange. I'm not too bothered about muck and crap getting down the back of there because it should be sealed now. So it should have dragged enough stuff around to fill up all the holes and smoothed it all out. It will resin into that gap that's in there, so it's going to make that very difficult to get out, and it's probably going to do more damage when I pull it out. But I'll be honest, if this doesn't fix it, it's done anyway. It's wall art, and I'm up for a new bike. So, not a new bike, a second-hand bike I can ride in the winter, because I can't ride the Propel. It's too nice a bike. So we'll get it put back together, we'll get it on there, we'll set it up, and then we'll try it tomorrow, and I'll come back and we'll see if it's clunking tomorrow. Maybe in the evening. I might leave it set longer. I'll leave the tray of crap that I've got somewhere, which I'm not entirely sure where I've put that. That's worrying. Oh, it's down there. We'll leave that because that's my control to see if I've mixed it properly. If that hasn't set in the morning, then I know that hasn't set, and I wasted my time and I might as well pull it out. It just worries me because normally you can feel a bit of heat with this, so I might still be going and finding the araldite or ordering some araldite. But that tube of stuff should have been enough to mix that entire pot. So let's quickly lob this back together, and then we will know by tomorrow. I'm just going to have to shove you out of the way a bit, and in fact I'm going to move you. Right. I'm going to try and catch the chain because it does make life easier if I can take the chain with me. Right. Hope that works. Make sure they're in line. Right, before we go any further, let me just get some of this crap off my hands. I'm not sure what's glue and what's not, because I think that's oil. We're all right, that's oil. Need to tighten that up. So I normally do these to 40. Can have this up at a decent thing now. Should tell you on here what you torque them to actually. 45 to 50 Newton meters, there you go. $45. Right, just for good measure, we're going to take it up to 50 because it says 45 to 50. That's it. Didn't actually take that much more. Right. I can't really test these unless I drop the gadget in. I just want to see how smooth it's running, but the problem is this isn't the best thing either, because you still get chain rattle, you still get the chain chatter. Well, that worked well. Let's do that. Seems to be running okay. Stick it up on the big ring. Put down onto the little ring. Right, okay, let's get this back on the bike. So this normally lives on the turbo trainer over there. So that's where we're going. So I don't know if you can see, we've got a Wahoo kicker climb and a Wahoo kicker generation 4 that is masquerading as a generation 5, because the only difference between the 4 and the 5 is the wobble bars. Oops. Is the wobble feet. And I picked up a set of wobble feet when Chain Reaction was selling them off All Wiggle, because they bought loads and nobody wanted them. Which I can't imagine why that was. But I actually like them. They just take the harshness out of the riding off. Right, are you on? Flipping heck. I've been having a few problems lately with this actually jumping out as well, coming out of the thing, so I'd normally say don't tighten these up, but there's a couple of times that they've come out and I've come to take it off and you can feel it's moved. Don't need to worry so much with this one. I've just noticed the kicker climb is still covered in a pool of sweat from this morning. Getting on to while I'm here, I might as well give a quick bike a wipe down as well. I did clean it before I brought it in, so any muck that's on it is muck it's picked up from in here, or what I couldn't get to while I was cleaning it outside. So I think that's alright. I've now got furry fingers and black fingers. I did a session on my whoosh this morning. Just put the drip pad back on. I did a session on my whoosh this morning. It was a minor map VO2 session. Actually quite enjoyed it. So I'm experimenting with my whoosh a bit, because I used to be a Zwift out and out person, but then I used to do a lot of the racing, and I used to really enjoy the racing, but then it got to the point where it was just pointless because everybody was cheating and they weren't doing anything about it, and if you complained about the fact they weren't doing anything about it, they kicked you off the forums, and that kind of says to me that they're not really taking it seriously. So at the same time I kind of switched over to, I was doing more coaching, and actually the Sufferfest stuff is a lot more interesting, so I switched over to System, and they got RGT at the time, which was really good. So I've done about 4 or 5 years on System and Sufferfest, but they've sold RGT or closed it down or whatever. And because there's nobody else in the marketplace now, Zwift have doubled their price, so I'm definitely not going back to Zwift. I lost out actually, because I was on an annual subscription with Sufferfest. And I was thinking about dropping off, so I knocked it down to a monthly, and then 2 days later they announced that anybody that was on an annual contract was going to get a full year's supply on Zwift when they turned RGT off. So I was a bit pissed off at that, because I had been a full year member up until that point. The only reason I'd stopped it was because they were turning RGT off. So I was a bit pissed off with that. I could have phoned them up, I suppose, and played hell up with them and signed up for a year's membership on that, and I would have got a year's membership on Zwift, but hey ho. I'm off all of them now. I'm just using my whoosh because it's free, and I'm just testing it. You know, I remember the early days of Zwift, and Zwift was awful when it was early. My whoosh is way better than Zwift was. If you remember the early days, I was one of the original beta testers before it was even released. And my whoosh is probably at the same level that Zwift was about 2 years after they released it and were charging people for it. So it's actually quite reliable. It's quite a decent system. Works really well. Works really well with Apple, which is always a plus, because a lot of people do like doing their apples. I never used to get it, but because I had to buy an Apple box for this room, I'm now doing it on Apple, and I kind of get it. It's just so much easier. It works, whereas the Zwift didn't work particularly well on the Apple. It was a bit buggy, but my whoosh seems to be using it as its primary platform, so it just works. I don't really want to spin this now, because it's it's setting up, so if I spin it, it'll put too much pressure on the crank, and I don't want to do that, so we'll leave it now. We'll see if it's bonded, and then I'll give it a ride tomorrow. I mean, it's bad when you go on, it's just like constantly all the way through, it's clunk, 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 and you can feel it on my left leg. And then yesterday when I was ragging on the thing, I could actually make it move, and I could feel it with my fingers, so that's why I knew it was that outside one. I just wasn't sure if the inside one was going as well. So anyway, hopefully that's fixed it. I mean, how many videos have I got on this now? I mean, I've been trying to fix this now for 3-4 years. I mean, it's virtually since I bought the frame. I should have gone back to Planet X and just said this frame's shit, but I convinced myself it was something I'd done to the bottom bracket, because I was using a bottom bracket out of another frame initially, and it went in perfect. I've got I've got the proper flat face tools for bringing them in. I had no issues with it. And it wasn't until I went through 2 brand new ones and had a look, and you could see there was big chunks missing. And I thought, now that's somebody's mullered that, or they've dropped the frame. So anyway, thanks Planet X. That's 2 shit things you've done today. That's one of the reasons why I switched to Giant. I used to be really, I'm going to support Planet X. They're a local company. I got on well with Dave, who owned the company. I've got friends that worked in the shop. They've not really done anything. To support me. I've never had any freebies out of them. I mean, I got a discount on the frame, but as it turns out, it was a pre-used frame anyway. And I'll be honest, the Holdsworth was perfect, and I got really good customer service off Craig Drummond that was there, and but obviously that frame lasted about 8 years, and then it eventually fractured. And I bought this frame to replace it, and this frame's just been nothing but trouble from the day I bought it. Would I go and buy a Pro Carbon? No, I wouldn't. They're flipping awful now. They're heavy. The group sets are shit. Customer service is shit. I mean, you've seen that. They couldn't even be bothered to phone anybody up on the recall on their parts. I've sent forks back to them on the mountain bike, and they were just completely disinterested. And I had to do a lot of the legwork myself to get them to replace it with RockShox, and in the end it took so long. I bought another set of forks, so when they did eventually replace them, I just sold those forks. So no, definitely not buy another bike off Planet X. They're not even cheap anymore now either. You can get much better makes with the same spec gear. You know, you can buy your £1,000 carbon frames now from many places with better spec or similar spec and better customer service. So there you go. Check out Decathlon. The deals they're doing, flipping epoxy. The deals they're doing, some of their bikes are fantastic. The Van Reassembling bikes. They've got bikes in the Tour de France. They're really pushing it. I've had a look at them. They are really nice bikes. We've bought the kids some of the mountain bikes from them a couple of years back. They are really nice bikes. They are really good value, and you get great customer service. Just because it says Decathlon, it's a bit like the Boardman thing. Boardman bikes are good bikes. You just can't sell them because people see Boardman. It's the same as Planet X. Planet X, the original bikes, were very good bikes. You can't give them away now because they say Planet X on, and Planet X has got such a bad name. Probably because of people like me slagging them off, but there you go. Anyway, right, enough moaning. Let's close this down. Thanks for watching. It's a bit of a talky one tonight. I'm a bit pissed off with it. I'm tired. I've been up at the garage filming another part bike that I've ended up filming in about 6 or 7 different sessions over different days, and that irritates me no end. That one, that's got my wheels on it at the moment just so I can move it around, because that's the one that's got the freewheel that's sheared, and there was a recall on the Vision wheels that Planet X didn't tell the person who owned that bike that the wheel had been recalled, and it's a catastrophic failure. Watch the video on that. You won't believe how it's failed, and there's God knows how many people riding around on those Vision rims because they're really popular, not just on Planet X's, and I do wonder how many people were aware that there was a recall on them, and it's really bad as well, what's happened. So watch the video, you'll see that. Anyway, right, enough waffle. Like and subscribe. Doesn't take 2 minutes of your time just to press the like button. Press the don't like button, I don't care. You know, I'd rather know that you don't like it and put a comment on why you don't like it. I do try to answer all the comments, and I'm waffling again. Right, job's a good one. And well done, Ben Swift, today. I bet his mum's right proud. She comes to our club. Right, let's give this a try. I haven't tested this, I've got no microphones on either. So we've got my whoosh set up on there, that's what you can hear playing in the background. If I dig the cables up, I'll just have to quickly select something. Right, let's do a quick ride. We've got something with a hill. UCI. Boom, 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 boom. That looks hilly. Right, let's set that going. Put the kicker on as well. Is that one recording? No, I can't see the light. Yep, we've got recording. I think you're recording. I hope you're recording. Right, let's see if it creaks. So it's about 18, 19 hours since we bonded this. I haven't touched it, I haven't tested this, so we'll see how we go. Got my whoosh on the TV screen, so I should be getting some resistance. So we'll just set off. Now normally it'd be clunking away like a good one. Just drop the power down because my legs aren't warmed up. We're on a 2% hill already. So far so good, it's not clunking. I'm going to turn the climb off because otherwise I might start feeling the adjustments on the climb and think it's clunking on my thing. So we're on a 3% downhill now, so it's pretty much freewheeling, I'm not feeling anything. I've got some gears on. Actually, that feels alright. We'll see how long it lasts, but initially I'm not getting the clunking. This was really clunking bad the other day on this, so it looks like we might have cracked it. Do some pins. That's 500 watts. No, that's fine. Stick it back into gear. Not that easy. I think we've cracked it. Let you know if it works when I take it out on the road.